Okay, everybody, I'm Miss Cindy. Welcome to Kids Paint Night. Today we are going to paint a llama. So you want to have your canvas going lengthwise like this. And the first thing you're going to do is take a round brush. You're going to take some white. Little bit of yellow and a tiny dot of black. So start out with that, blend it together. All right, I've got too much yellow, so I'm going to add more white to it. Just like that. Don't want it being light yellow. You want to kind of have a beige color. So I'm going to take another little dash of black. Remember, only at a tiny little speck at a time, because a tiny bit of such a dark color goes a long way. I'm going to add another tiny dash. Okay, mine is still a little bit yellow, but that's okay. Just find a color that you like and you're happy with. So I'm going to stick with this. All right, I'm going to wipe some of that extra paint off. Okay, so now I'm going to paint the shape of the llama. Oops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make an oval like that. Oops, I think I'm going to make them a little bit bigger this way. Okay. And then he's flat across the top. It's kind of like that. This is going to be the trickiest part. And then his head is going to kind of come up like this. That's about right. All right, I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. That one's a little too big. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit, and now his little head, I'm going to have his nose area. We're going to color that, we're going to paint that in anyway with a different color. So right now we're just going to leave it that color though. And his head's a little too skinny. Let me fix his head a little bit. All right, we also kind of want him fluffy, so kind of make him where he's not flat. Kind of make him fluffier. The back right here though stays flat. And then we also need to make a tail for him. So I'm just going to make a little tail like that. Fill it in. A little bigger, I think. Okay. And now his little blanket on the back is going to be up there, so I'm going to add some more fluffy lumps. You just don't want them all smooth because he's supposed to look fluffier. We're going to go back over him with white anyway, so part of this color isn't even going to show. But see how I'm just making it so he's kind of fluffy looking. And then we got to finish his legs. We're only going to go about partway down with his legs, because the rest is going to be the skinny part. This is just the furry part. Other leg. So kind of like that. All right. Some light spots there. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to paint the background. I don't like the way it's shaped. It's making him have a bigger nose now. Okay, so for the background, we're going to take a big brush. I'm going to take my big flat brush. Get the extra water off of it. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a whole bunch of white and just a little bit of red. Not too much. It's up to you on what color you want it, but you want it fairly lighter. You don't want a dark red for your background. That's probably about how I want it. You don't want to mix it in all the way because you want the streaks of color. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to paint the entire background. You're going to have to be really careful around your llama. If I were you, I would wait till your llama dries. So paint the whole background. The reason why we put the llama down first instead of the background is because of the coloring for the background probably would have shown through the llama. We didn't want to do that. So you just got to be extra careful up against your llama. If you go over it a little bit, it's okay. So just do the best you can around it. And we want to keep our brush lines going up and down on the canvas. So even though I'm using it to go around the llama right near his body, you can do it up and down around there because we want kind of streaks, kind of almost like some stripes in it, almost looking. And you always can go back and make some more lines too. Skip over and finish this side. Now I'm gonna kind of do it a little quicker and not as neat. So I'm going to do it kind of streaky and quickly here, but you guys can take your time and not worry about getting it all smushed together. You can wait till it dries. Okay, I'm going to turn it around to reach this side easier. And I'm going to go around the llama. Okay. Just if you want to switch to a smaller brush around by the llama, you can. Make it a little easier. Like I said, you guys can take your time. You can be more careful with yours. Okay. All right. And see how you want it to have the little white streaks and kind of pinkish streaks in there. And if you don't have enough of the red ones, you can go back through and make some more. All right. You can use, like I said, a smaller brush around the llama if it's easier for you. trickiest part. Okay, so just like that. All right. Now, if I were you, I would let it dry for a while. If you want to add more pink, reddish stripes in there, you can take just a tiny bit of red paint, make a couple marks, and then go back and kind of work them in. And then you'll have more streaks in your painting, like that. It's up to you. All right. So after that, hopefully your llama is dry. My llama isn't really dry yet, but I have to move on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the round brush again, and I am going to take just white. Now if you wait for yours to dry, yours will show up better. Mine might mix in because my llama's not dry yet, but that's okay. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take the white paint and you're going to make like swirls around on his body to try to add fluffiness to him again. You just kind of take the white paint and just kind of swirl it around. Kind of like that. I also made his body a little darker so you could see it better. Because if I made it too light, you might not have been able to see this step then. But you just kind of want to swirl it around with your white. You don't have to worry about so much by the back there because we're going to put the blanket on him. But you can get up around near him. Put a little on his tail. And if you go over the line into where the background is, that's okay because it'll just look like he's fluffy. Just don't do it while he still has the red that's wet if you're going to smear it in. You don't want to do that. Alright, so kind of like that. Yours is going to look a lot neater because you're going to wait for yours to dry. Alright, you can go back and do another layer later if you want to make them even look a little bit whiter. It's up to you what color you want your llama. All right, so now we're going to take the white and we're going to draw first. I'm going to outline, not really draw, but paint an outline for the cactus. All right, so we've got a couple smaller cactus down at the bottom, and then we have the one bigger cactus that's going to be behind him. You can put your cactus wherever you want. If you don't want it behind him like that, you can move yours over. If you don't want as many small ones at the bottom, you can make less. If you want more, you can do whatever you want with your cactus. All right, so I'm going to start with the big tall one though, because I do want a big tall one. And I'm going to just paint the lines for it in white for now, just to outline where I want it. My red background is not dry yet, so my colors are mixing. So that's why you better wait till yours is dry so your colors don't mix like mine are. All right, so I'm just going to make the arms on the cactuses now. And then I'm going to paint it down here because it comes down from here. Okay, so now I'm going to take, let's see. I'm going to take this brush. I'm going to take the white and I'm going to paint over. Like I said, mine is not dry, so it's kind of blending together and still going to be pink. So please just take your time. Let yours dry a little bit. Come back to it. You can just pause the video so your colors don't all blend together like mine are. All right, I'm going to do the bottom down here. kind of get as close as you can with that. All right, now I'm going to go back to the round brush for the smaller ones. Actually, I'm going to use the smaller round brush. All right. Like I said, you can make how many cactuses you want. You can make them whatever shapes you want. When they're like pieced together like this. So I'm going to make like a big one, and then I'm going to make some little pieces over on top of it. It's just to put a base coat down so the green will show up better. And one here. Okay. Oops, now it looks like an animal. I better put a little end. Okay. I'm just going to make one other cactus here. Let's see. Do that for the base. And maybe a piece coming up like this. And then another piece this way. Yeah, I don't feel like putting another cactus. Okay, I'm just going to leave it as that. All right. Now, while the background for the cactus is drying, I'm going to take red and I'm going to make the little blanket. See his little blanket that he's got on his back? Remember, mine is not dry, so wait till yours is dry. And then I would do it. You can always go back and put another layer on it. Okay, so that's done for now. All right, our llama is going to need a different color for his legs down here and for his ears and his nose. So I'm going to take the beige that I made to begin with, and I'm going to add a little bit more black. I'm not going to mix it all over. I'm just going to make a little patch right here because you don't need a lot. I'm just going to make it kind of a grayish. It's up to you. Nothing's wrong. Whichever color you pick is fine. If it's more brown, it's more gray, it's more black. It's up to you. It's your llama. Okay, I like that color. All right, so I'm going to make his legs, the rest of his leg. Oh, it's really not drying. Okay. And then his other leg. A little wide. Try to make him a little skinnier. Okay. Now I'm going to make his nose area, his head. I'm going to give him some ears. You have to have one ear behind and one ear in front. Okay, so that's it with that color. I think, let me see how wet this is. It's still too wet. Can't put my sun up there yet. It's too wet up there. All right. I think what we're gonna do is you let yours dry for a while. But I'm gonna start with my cactus. I would wait till your white base of your cactus is dry before you go on. But what you're going to do is you're going to take, I'll mix it on the other plate. You're going to take a little bit of white, and you're going to take a little bit of the greenish blue color, and you're going to mix it together to make a lighter color. You even can try adding a little bit of yellow to it to make it a little bit more greenish. It's up to you. Just use your imagination and play around with it. Get a color you like. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to paint my cactus. The other one's more bluish because I added more yellow. I added some yellow in this one. But it's up to you. You don't have to add the yellow. You can have it a little bit more bluish green. But yours isn't going to have the white mixing with it because you waited till yours was dry and I did not. All right. So just cover up the white with your cactus color. And I would do the sides, do the arms of the cactus first, and then go back, not first, but after you do that, go back and smooth it out so you don't have those lines going into the base of the cactus, because it'll look a little odd. All right, I've got a lot of white there. I'm going to try to get rid of some of it, because I did wait for it to dry. Yours is going to look much better. Waiting for yours to dry will look much better than mine is. Okay. So just color, paint in the base underneath of the cactus where your white is. And I'm going to try to cover this up again. Got way too much white. Okay, you can always go back and add another layer if it's got too much white showing through like mine does. Now for the little cactus, because they have different parts of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one in the lighter green, and I'm going to go light green. And then those two are going to be the darker green. So then this one on top is going to be light also. So you don't want two of the same colors next to each other. Now I did that one the lighter green, so I'm going to do this one as the lighter green up here. And then I'm going to add more of this green blue to it to make a darker color. Because you want two different colors at least for your cactus, because then you want it to be able to show, like the arms or parts that are sticking up are a different color. So kind of like that. See how you have different, you have light and dark. Like on this one I did the dark on the bottom and then I did a lighter one up there. So you want to alternate the dark and the light so you can see the different ones. Okay, now one more little piece up here. Yeah, mine's really not drying. Okay, that'll be good enough for now. All right, now I'm going to attempt my sun. So I'm going to turn this around. Got my yellow here. Make sure I have all the green out of this because we don't want a green sun. All right, so I'm just going to take some yellow and I'm going to take a little white with it. And I'll tell you why. The yellow, you can see through it. And the white helps to not see through it, which is why we put the white base down before we put our cactus down. Okay. So after you get the round part, you're just going to kind of make some dashes around it. You're just kind of highlighting it a little. You can do them with the white, you can do them with the yellow, but they're kind of just highlighting the sun like that. Okay, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to take a small brush, it's got a nicer point to it, and I'm going to make the little ties on the, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add more white to my llama. I'm going to add another swirly white layer to add a little bit more white because he was a little light, not showing enough. A little too much of the background was showing. So I'm going to add another white layer. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's up to you what color you want your llama. You can even add a little bit of black and make it more of a gray llama. It's up to you what color your llama is. Oops. Okay. So just kind of make some white swirls here and there, just to make them look fluffier. Okay. Now I'm going to try to do this, even though I just put the white down and it's probably still too wet. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit of the red and I'm going to make some little lines for the part of the blanket. I'm going to skip every other kind of spot because I'm going to make room to make green ones as well. You're just making the little tie parts on the blanket that are hanging down. All right, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to make little green ones in between the red ones. Like I said, wait till your white dries. Otherwise, you're just going to smear it all. Okay. So I've got my little blanket ties on. Now I'm going to take, while I have this green, I'm going to make little marks in my cactus to represent the needles on the cactus. So I'm just going to make little dashes here and there. Can make some skinnier, some a little wider. Going to be the needles on the cactus. Wait till your cactus is dry to do this though. All right, down here now. Don't get him on his foot, on his leg. And you can do them on the small cactus as well. Okay. Take a little bit of black. He's got a little part on his leg like that. I think it's supposed to be like where his knee is. And then also take a little bit of black on a very skinny brush. You need to make his little bit of a face. I'm going to turn it this way for a moment so I can reach it better. So make a little eye. And the eye is on this part, not up in the fur. Make little eyelashes if you can, if you have a skinny enough brush. And little nose. And a little face. There, his face is all complete. All right. Now I'm going to go back with some white. Then I'm going to add a little bit of white with the needles in the cactus. After yours is dry, I would do it. Just here and there, just like you did with the green. There's no right or wrong spot. No right or wrong how many you want. But your cactus does need some needles. So just do your cactuses wherever you want. All right. And the little one. Okay. I think that might be it. I think it is. I think our llamas are done. All right, like I said, just stop and make yours, do yours at your own speed and do yours so you let it dry for a while. And then that is my first one that's finished. All right. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you next week for the next one.